Let me ask you something, and I want you to sit with this question, really sit with it before we move on. Who are you when no one is watching? Not the version of you that shows up to meetings with a forced smile. Not the one that posts carefully curated snapshots of a life you're still trying to build. I mean the real you. The one that exists in the heavy silence between the alarm going off and the moment you finally surrender to the day. The one that stands in front of the mirror at midnight, wondering where the time went. Here's the truth that most people spend their entire lives running away from. That version of you, the real you, isn't defined by your big dreams. It isn't shaped by the grand resolutions you made on January 1st or the vision board gathering dust in your closet. You are shaped slowly, invisibly, almost imperceptibly by the things you do when the stakes feel like zero. When you think, it doesn't matter. This video isn't just a summary of James Clear's Atomic Habits. It is an exploration of the invisible machinery that runs your life. Because the question isn't whether you are achieving your goals. The question is, are you becoming the person you actually want to be, or are you drifting into someone you'll eventually regret? Hold on to that. We are going deeper than you think. Every single day you are casting votes. Not in a political election and not for a leader you'll never meet. You are casting votes for the person you are becoming. Think about it. Each tiny decision, the choice to pick up a book instead of a remote, the choice to take the stairs, the choice to pause before you react in anger, is a ballot dropped into a box. Most of us go through life without ever examining the box. We don't even realize we're voting. We think change requires a revolution. We think it requires a lightning bolt of inspiration or a catastrophic failure to wake us up. But that's the invisible architecture. Your life is built on grooves. Deep, silent grooves worn into your days by years of repetition. Your brain is a masterpiece of efficiency, but it is also inherently lazy. It seeks the path of least resistance, like water running downhill. If you don't consciously design your habits, your biology will design them for you. And biology doesn't care about your potential. It cares about survival and energy conservation. This is why you feel stuck. It's not a lack of willpower, it's a failure of your internal system. James Clear didn't just give us a book, he gave us a map to the basement of our own minds, where the real work happens. And it all started with a shattered skull and a baseball bat. In 2003, James Clear's life was shattered in a fraction of a second. A baseball bat swung with full force struck him directly between the eyes. His nose was crushed. His skull was fractured. His brain began to swell. He flatlined twice that night. Imagine waking up to that reality. Your identity as an athlete, your future, your basic motor skills all gone. Most people would let that trauma become their permanent story. I was the guy who could have been great. But Clear did something different. He didn't try to get his life back all at once. He couldn't. He focused on the atomic, the smallest possible unit. He went to bed 5 minutes earlier. He practiced walking for 10 minutes. He read one page. At first, it looked like nothing. His friends were moving on, graduating, succeeding. He was just a guy trying to breathe correctly. But those tiny, laughable efforts were compounding. By the time he graduated, he wasn't just recovered. He was the top athlete at his university. He didn't chase a goal, he optimized a system. He understood that while we cannot always control the lightning bolts that hit us, we can always control the direction of the next small step. Why do we quit? Why do we start the gym in January and disappear by February? It's because of the valley of disappointment. James Clear describes the plateau of latent potential. Imagine an ice cube in a room that is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it to melt. You put in the work. You raise the heat to 26. Nothing. 28. Nothing. 31. Still a solid block of ice. You feel like a failure. You think the universe is against you? But then 32 degrees. Suddenly, the ice begins to melt. Was it the jump from 31 to 32 that did it? No. It was the energy stored at 26, 27, and 28. Your work was never wasted. It was being stored. This is the psychological trap of modern life. We are obsessed with visible results. We want the scale to move today. We want the bank account to swell this week. But mastery requires the delayed gratification that our ancestors understood, but we have forgotten. Let's look at the math, because the math doesn't lie. If you improve by just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you are 37 times better. Not 37%, 37 times. If you get 1% worse, you drift towards zero. 1% is the difference between an average life and an extraordinary legacy. It is the boring, unglamorous, repetitive work that happens when no one is watching. It is the compound interest of self-improvement. Why do we quit? Why do we start the gym in January and disappear by February? It's because of the valley of disappointment. James Clear describes the plateau of latent potential. Imagine an ice cube in a room that is 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You want it to melt. You put in the work. You raise the heat to 26. Nothing. 28. Nothing. 31. Still, a solid block of ice. You feel like a failure. You think the universe is against you. But then 32 degrees. Suddenly, the ice begins to melt. Was it the jump from 31 to 32 that did it? No. It was the energy stored at 26, 27, and 28. Your work was never wasted. It was being stored. This is the psychological trap of modern life. We are obsessed with visible results. We want the scale to move today. We want the bank account to swell this week. But mastery requires the delayed gratification that our ancestors understood, but we have forgotten. Let's look at the math, because the math doesn't lie. If you improve by just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you are 37 times better. Not 37%, 37 times. If you get 1% worse, you drift towards zero. 1% is the difference between an average life and an extraordinary legacy. It is the boring, unglamorous, repetitive work that happens when no one is watching. It is the compound interest of self-improvement. Now we reach the most disruptive idea in the book, identity-based habits. Most people try to change from the outside in. They say, I want to lose 20 pounds. The outcome. To do that, they go to the gym, the process. But their internal self-image is still, I am someone who struggles with weight. This is why they fail. The identity and the action are in conflict. Clear tells us to flip the script. Start from the center. Don't say, I'm trying to quit smoking. Say, I'm not a smoker. Do you feel the shift? One is a struggle against the self. The other is an expression of the self. When your behavior is a natural extension of your identity, you don't need willpower. Willpower is a finite resource. Identity is an infinite engine. Every time you sit down to write, even if it's one sentence, you are casting a vote for the identity of a writer. You don't need to publish a book to be a writer. You need to write. The outcome is just the lagging measure of the identity you've already adopted. This is the sculptor's secret. Michelangelo didn't create the statue of David. He said he simply removed everything that wasn't David. You are already great. You are already capable of the 37x version of yourself. Your habits are just the excess marble covering the masterpiece. You don't need to add more. You need to strip away the default routines that no longer serve you. To make this practical, Clear gives us the 4 laws of behavior change. They are the levers of the human brain. Make it obvious. If you want to play guitar, don't hide it in the case. put it in the middle of the room. Design your environment so the good habit is the loudest thing in the room. Make it attractive. Pair a habit you need to do with one you want to do. Make it easy. Reduce the friction. Don't try to work out for an hour. Start with the 2-minute rule. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. Make it satisfying. Give yourself an immediate reward. Our brains are wired for the now. And if you want to break a bad habit, invert them. Make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it difficult. Make it unsatisfying. This isn't about being a hero. It's about being an architect. Stop trying to be stronger than your environment and start designing an environment that makes being strong the easiest choice. We're back to the beginning. The quiet room. The alarm. The choice. Who are you choosing to become? The person you want to be isn't waiting for you at the end of a marathon or $1 million deal. They are being assembled right now in the way you handle this next hour. They are built out of the atomic choices that no one will ever clap for. James Clear wrote a book about habits, but he actually gave us a manifesto for the soul. He reminded us that we are not our mistakes. We are not our past. We are the sum of our current actions. If this video felt like a vote for the person you're choosing to become, if these ideas are the kind of company you want to keep as you build that identity, then consider subscribing. Not because numbers matter, but because choosing what enters your mind is the most important habit of all. Every channel you follow, every video you watch is a vote for your future self. We'll keep casting ours here, and we'd be honored to have you cast yours with us. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. James Clear. Starting now, what is your next vote?